Hello, welcome everybody to the Long Library Discord channel. We're going to be doing a review on one of the world record runs for the history of Symphony of the Night. Right here, we are going to be looking at the Adam Sweeney run, that is the Lucid Faia run. It is going to be for Castlevania Symphony of the Night single segment at 43 minutes 51 seconds. Joining me today is going to be TalicZealot. Hello, Talic.
Hello. We're back again for another cool analysis of an old school run.
Oh man. So we got a few more sweet things happening in this run from the Adam G run, correct?
Yep.
Without getting too much into it, there's a few more things that we're going to introduce to the Symphony of the Night speedrun, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna see a few more sequence breaks and optimizations over the last runs.
Alright, cool. So currently, we are watching a particular video that is available at a couple of different sources. We're going to be putting those sources inside of the video description. You can also find them at speedrun.com in the Soten forums under the World Record Progression forum post. And as mentioned, it's going to be for the Lucid Faia speedrun. So feel free to check that out. We are going to be starting at the 0 mark of the video, which is the very beginning of the video. It is a Speed Demos archive video, so it is going to have a pre-prompt title screen, if you will, for it. So keep that in mind. We will mention when the run itself starts. But we're going to be starting from 0 on that particular video, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go. I'm excited.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen this video yet, so this is going to be an interesting part in Soten history. So we just started the game, just got into the main menu. Looks like he's just going to get into naming, picks a save file right now, and just immediately starts. Now loading is flashing now. So for those of you keeping track. So this is going to be interesting to see
Still PlayStation.
what he does for his intro strategy, right?
Yeah. Mostly the same from the looks of it. Oh, he doesn't, yeah. Of course he doesn't
So
go for the
much faster, right? Does
more
use the
slides.
slides to be able to get into Drax's room. A little bit of styling here and there. Obviously knows about the special abilities for Richter.
Hydrostorm.
And here we have a Hydrostorm.
Even got
Not a
little bit of damage stack with the whip.
little damage stack off of the whip, but not a specifically looking for damage stack, it looks like, right?
And
Big lag. Huge lag. Interesting. So it looks like Faia knew about the damage stack, but just didn't quite get it there.
yeah,
Because
maybe.
they did throw the holy water. So you're starting to see a little bit of optimization when it comes to the Dracula fight at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, already.
It's going to be interesting to see where this kind of takes us for the rest of the run here.
I'm pretty sure we're about to see shield dashing, which is one of the most popular speed attacks of this game. Pretty much, the shield can cancel different animations that Alucard has, including the backdash, which allows him to reset and do it again, avoiding some of the recovery.
No, not yet.
Really?
So here's a big thing. I don't
Surprise.
remember the name of it, but I think it's Pile of Secrets is the website. I'd have to check it up. But there's a really specific kind of like meme Soten line
yeah?
that mentions it. And in that particular thing, they mentioned some of the more prominent kind of speedrun or Soten tech runners. And they mentioned that until Satoriu came up, which we'll be visiting very soon, shield dashing wasn't a thing. Like, people thought it wasn't something that you could maintain to a large portion of the run. So, I mean, you're going to be seeing some nice, sweet chained backdashes here for quite some time.
Yeah, still pretty
Obviously,
quick.
death skip is not a thing, so we're going to go ahead and see the Alucard gear getting taken here. And I mean, like, that's going to be the big thing, is you're going to see just how much this changes from Adam G to Faia to Satoriu. And without pushing it too much, like, Satoriu is going to be kind of like the modern age of Soten speedrunning to some
pretty
extent.
much. The biggest leaps.
But
in,
let's not take away from Faia, because it's important to, again, remember where your speedrun came from. Interesting. Goes a little bit out of the way to get a few extra hearts here. Equips the short sword, which is interesting. So, from what I remember, the short sword is important for the purpose of killing the stone rose in 2 hits, but we'll see how Faia utilizes it over the course of this run. Puts it in the opposite hand, so it looks like he or they are using a variety of both the short sword and this to be able to kind of move through the castle. Doesn't pick up the shield, which again is kind of expected based on the fact that shield dashing isn't a particularly prominent facet of Zone speedrunning at this time. And this would be on the PlayStation. We can tell that based on the lag that was present during the Dracula fight during the Hydra Storm. Talik, if you want to kind of narrate how this Slogger Gaibon fight goes, I think we're in for kind of a cheer or a little bit of a treat here.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, in the previous run we saw a pretty standard way of fighting Slogger Gaibon. Let's see if he uses some of Alucard's spells that he has at his disposal. He still goes for daggers. Takes care of
very different strategy,
very quickly,
right?
Yeah. Wow.
So you want to kind of talk about a little bit of what was happening there with that particular fight?
I mean, the dagger, even though it does a very low amount of damage, when you have a whole bunch of cards, you can spam them out. And he was making sure that they don't fly up in the air. That loses a lot of time in pretty much any type of strategy you're using. So
you've taken a little bit of time with manipulating AI a little bit more than I have. Do you know if the manipulation was there to pull Gaibon into a position to throw knives, or do you think he just kind of...
I think
or
that's
they
why
just did resets?
I think that is the purpose why he pulled back after he activated their AI, so that Gaibon will come close to him, and he spammed them out as quickly as possible for that purpose. I think it was more for he practiced it out, and that's the way it worked out the best, more than
Gotcha.
particular AI manipulation. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened anyway.
So here it looks like a constant variety, using the punch for a little bit of extra damage and using the short sword for a little bit of extra range here and there. So that's kind of an interesting adjustment. We saw that strength is good based on the hits with the bloody zombies and with the axe armors. So we shouldn't expect any issues with strength coming into the Minotaur werewolf fight, but we'll see what happens. There's still a couple more levels to go, right, before that becomes super relevant.
Yeah.
What I'm interested in is, in this next stream, is he going to pick up the stopwatch? And sure enough, they pick up the stopwatch. I do apologize. I do not know if Lucid Faia is a guy or a gal. So I believe based on the submission, it is mentioned as a guy, but you never know.
Yeah.
So nice punching the Diplocephalus. So once again, not using the ability to jump over them to save a little bit of time and experience.
I'm still surprised how quickly they die for just this.
So this is a big change from the Adam G run, actually. So by equipping the short sword here, you allow yourself to kill the stone roses in 2 hits, which is very fast, actually. We're going to see this revisited in the next couple runs, but that's actually a pretty huge improvement over the original runs by Adam G. And we're going to see that kind of carried over. Eventually that'll get dropped when we get to the ROM Scout runs, but for now that's actually a really big improvement on consistency and both consistency and time to equip the short sword there. So coming into Doppelganger, this should be pretty cut and dry based on the fact that we did pick up the stopwatch. If you want to kind of cover the climb coming up here, Talik, as it comes up.
Let's see how he handles this. This should be very, very quick and easy. There you go, punches him to death. It's noteworthy that because he had such a quick prologue, he already has significantly higher stats. The prologue actually matters a lot for your stats. And until recently it was thought that 1 minute was like a kind of a cutoff for stats. But the fast way of a spell skip it's kind of a newer method of death skip. Pretty much made me realize that those stats still matter, even if we kill Dracula as quickly as we possibly can. So yeah, it definitely made his strength significantly higher to begin with, helping with Solver Gaibon and with the subsequent fights.
Yeah, it's a little bit less important when you're talking about overall. Let's see. Okay, so doesn't know to reset the elevator, so that's worth noting.
Interesting.
But back to what I was saying. What was I saying exactly? As far as stats. So stats really aren't super important in certain speedruns in the modern era until you get into glitchless. There are a couple of things that can emerge as a little bit suboptimal if you have lower stats, but really glitchless is the main thing that's going to cause you issues when you're talking about a typical run. So we also saw that wolf jumping to be able to get the garnet was not a thing at this point as well. So we're going to be a little bit strapped for cash coming into this. And you can see that as Lucid Faia picks up the 250, both going to and coming from the marble gallery.
Yeah, although I don't think we're going to be
looking
of note, at,
well, I will say this. Of note, we are not going to the library, right?
We are maybe going to go to the library eventually.
But not right now.
We're going to introduce probably the most popular sequence break in Sultan Speedrun, which is the Clock Rush. The Clock Rush and the Wolf allowing us to go to Colosseum very, very early on. Because if you remember the last run, Adam was going there significantly later. He went to the chapel first. He went to get the leap stone, and only then was he able to circle back and go to the Colosseum. But Lucid Faia is going to do it right now with the power of the wolf, because in this game, when you untransform from any of your forms, you're given a version of a dive kit that goes pretty much only down. But since this candle is conveniently positioned right here, he just jumps up on top of it and bounces.
And that's going to be a 10-minute clock rush, I believe, for this particular run, correct?
Yep.
I got it at 10:26 or so, so it'd be about a 10-minute clock rush. Funny enough, trying to kill off the Skellerangs here. So strength isn't great, I would say, because he is getting double hits on Skellerangs, but that's kind of normal. You won't really see until you get into Minotaur Werewolf if their strength is good or bad.
It still should be okay with a double hit. It just makes the fight a little bit tighter. Well, with the modern way we do it, I don't know what exactly he's going to do for it. Double hits on these guys as well?
Well, based on the Adam G run, it was known that you could break the AI based on skipping the cutscene. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens. A little bit of a manipulation on the Blade Masters. Not sure if that was intentional or just something that, was hedged on safety.
Yeah. If you jump and slash...
So we're going across.
Pretty much how that works.
Opening the side entrance, but still not going for the shield rod yet.
Yeah, I think we're still not going to see shield rod in this one. Which is surprising, again. Using the stopwatch to slow them down. Does it slow them down? I don't think it does. Maybe
nice
slightly?
soul steal there.
Yeah.
So normally in our kind of glitchless nowadays, we would use Tetra Spirit for a little bit of mana or a little bit less mana consumption, but Soul Steal still a really strong spell. Pretty good fight there.
I think the damage type is also slightly different on both spells, but I could be wrong on that. Interesting. Instantly.
So once again, still not going for Shield Rod. So this is an interesting thing for me always, because Shield Rod is, regardless of the spell itself, which is obviously insane, it's still a very good weapon.
It is, for sure.
So it's always kind of odd when I see people kind of skip it over. So we're going to be extremely minimalistic here, and we're going to pick up the Jewel of Open and the Library card here. We're going to see how Lucid decides to take the rest of this run. So
he
this
does
is
know.
very interesting. Very exactly knows that wolf jump is a thing, but does not get the garnet, which means that at this point it wasn't valued to the point where you would want to pick it up, despite the fact that it's what I want to say 3,000 gold, 5,000 gold, something like that. One of those two. Nice use of the summon spirit there to be able to clear out the flea armor. Uses the stopwatch here to be able to slow down Lesser Demon to just drop him as quickly as possible. Pretty good strategy there, especially for like kind of a casual type of run.
Oh, PlayStation.
So like that's a big thing. Very interesting that they would decide to forego the garnet, but I guess they just didn't feel like the extra money was worth it.
Mana Prism or Shield Rod, I guess that's the reasons for that. Although really Mana Prism.
Although this is an interesting thing though, like you would think that you would pick up the library card here as a result, because now Lucid has to backtrack quite a bit.
Yeah, he did buy it, but I think he budgeted
probably for later on. Would be my guess.
I don't know if he had money.
So the question becomes like, and who knows, maybe we'll get a response from Lucid.
Holy Whoa.
Oh man. So Holy Rod, this is exciting. This run has now become a real run for me. So Holy Rod is really cool because it is so fast and its hitbox is so good and it's Holy Element, so it destroys so many enemies inside of the game. So this is actually a huge development as far as like kind of like a casual speedrun perspective. So like this has now become an interesting run for me. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not like super familiar with Lucid's run here, but now I'm invested a little bit here.
It would be cool if we see Moonrod later. That's one of my favorite weapons, honestly. When I played
Moonrod,
that was my
without getting into it, has a really, really good special attack for large bosses. But we'll see what happens when we get into the second castle here. So using the wing smash,
no chaining.
So far, we've only been seeing single wing smashes. So we'll see if we ever see a multi wing smash. But so far, only the singles.
Let's see where he goes next. I think
It's got to be the clock tower. Because with this sequence break, you don't have to touch the Royal Chapel at all. Like, you've already taken away the necessity of the leap stone, which means that you no longer need it in order to reach the Colosseum.
Well, he's going to go there
absolutely going towards the clock tower.
Because of the ring, the silver ring.
Right, but you might not take the exact same route.
Oh, yeah,
sure. Like, right now,
not
definitely going upward. Interesting. So using the single wing smashes to be able to go up, this is still considerably faster than using the bat's flying ability to get up there. But kind of interesting. Uses the wing smash downward to be able to get through the gear. So these are things that are still prevalent inside of the run today. So this is kind of interesting. Uses the gear to be able to climb up, which is a little bit curious based on having access to the bat, but still really cool. Uses a wing smash to get through both of the armors there, which is expected. So a lot of really, really interesting stuff happening here. Really a mix between both speedrunning and kind of a more high-end casual playthrough here. So Holy Rod is going to break open Karasamon super hard along with punches.
Ooh. That's very smart. So, push him to the edge and then punch him to death.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this lag. PlayStation, please.
Holy Rod is also, I believe, strong against Karasamon as well.
Yeah, definitely. He is actually so resistant to dark that with Soul Steel it would take a very long time to kill him.
So I'm pretty positive they're going to go for Leapstone still.
Yeah.
The question is are we going to see bat kicks? Because that was something that wasn't prevalent inside of the Adam G run.
Look at this hitbox.
Nice showing. Yeah, that hitbox. Holy. So good. Doesn't pick up the ring, though, so we can't expect much purchasing as far as the librarian.
Still uses bat dash, so it leads me to believe that probably no bat
So
hits.
we're not seeing any bat kicking, so yeah, exactly. That means that we're probably not going to see bat kicking as a form of tech here. Still requires the double jump, though, to kind of make a couple of sections a little faster.
Very important warp to take in every type of run for Sutton. Yeah, single wing smashes, looks like it. Still very good use of them. There we go. Does he have on deck any type of potion right now? Or is he gonna just get
No potions as far as I'm aware of. When he went into the library, he opted to get only the Jewel of Open and only the
library card, yeah.
The library card.
There is one potion. Oh, he's using the special of the Holy Rod.
Yeah.
I think it's technically not.
So you can tell it's the special of the Holy Rod based on the kind of spark that happens.
Yeah, it's a bigger hitbox.
I wouldn't know. I'd have to kind of look at both of the attacks side by side.
I think the speed increase of the normal attack makes it more worth it. But I think there is a potion actually in one of these towers. So we'll see what happens.
Did not pick up the potion inside the alchemy lab either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It'll be interesting. I'm trying to think. There's no screen freeze that he has available, right? Okay. What do we have?
There is potion. So he must have gotten it from somewhere early on. Maybe bats even at the beginning of the game.
I suppose that's a Oh, wait, no. Because you'd have to die against Drac to get the potion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say for sure when he picked up the potion. So that's interesting. But still, the sequence break to the silver ring. So how that works is whenever you use a variety of usable items, you get a degree of invincibility, and that allows you to get past the spikes there and open up the room to Maria for the silver ring.
Interesting.
We're seeing a little bit of farming here. So this is a nice casual strat. Picks up the library card. Nice casual strat there. If you ever are short on money, you can farm the 25 money batch right there just before a librarian.
On our way to Maria. To Underground Caverns and then Maria.
We'll see. We'll see. That would be my guess as well, though. But we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know if Succubus is weak to Holy, but that would make sense if we kill her as well using the Holy Rod.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised in the slightest. There's a lot of enemies that are weak to Holy in this game.
Yeah.
So still not picking up the Garnet, which, you wouldn't expect it, but of note.
Oh.
So goes down, picks up the Jewel Knuckles. So, and the Mirror Cuirass. So, important things here. Number one, the Mirror Cuirass is a pretty large defensive increase, and it prevents you from getting petrified. And the Jewel Knuckles use the same fist animation as being unarmed, but are a huge offensive increase from just about anything that you would have up to this point. This also shows that Faia was unaware of the special elevator. Are you aware of it by chance, Talic?
Oh yeah, I am. It's the turkey. Up top.
So past the night there, you can actually stand inside the breakable place where the turkey spawns, and it allows you to have a secret elevator to gain access to the Mirror Cuirass and the Jewel Knuckles faster than intended. Kind of a bingo style thing, but really, really powerful. Still keeps on the Holy Rod for range, I guess. But also has the Jewel Knuckles available for pure damage.
Can the Jewel Knuckles double hit like the normal fist?
Yes, they can.
Oh wow, that's brutal.
Very, very strong weapon. So definitely heading down to the caverns. Did you catch if he had a buffer coming out of the blue door? I don't think he did, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think so. Definitely not for bat.
Okay. So immediately going over to Succubus to be able to get access to the gold ring. So this is going to be a very, very optimized run comparatively to the one that Adam G did, but we'll have to see how
Interesting. Picks up
Lucid
the
Faia
claymore.
takes the second part of the castle. Yeah, picking up the clayboard's a little interesting. Picks up the moonstone. For those of you familiar with glitchless, moonstone is a strict status increase for a good amount of the second castle. If you wanted to touch on that a little bit more as we're pushing our way through Succubus,
Yeah, there's a
Talic.
timer in the game, and the way the moonstone works is it boosts your stats after midnight in the in-game timer. Let's see how the succubus fight goes. Using the jewel knuckles, so much damage input, even gets that double jump.
Yeah,
in
it's
there.
fucking insane. Like it's so fast. Like that's why I'm inclined to say that they didn't know about the secret elevator. Is that if they did, then you would pick up the jewel knuckles way faster. Immediately puts on the gold and silver rings. You really don't need to worry about status at this point, but at the same time, that is a little bit of a time loss because that means that they put on the moonstone a little bit preemptively.
Yeah.
They had the moonstone increase for Succubus, but that isn't particularly relevant when you use the strats that they were using at the time.
Ooh, smooth exit.
So, interesting to note, they haven't picked up gravity boots yet. I'm going to be interested to see if in the clock they decide to fly up and kind of pick them up. I think you have to pick them up, right? Based on what is known in this run.
We'll see. He should, but we'll see what he decides to do. I think this is exactly when Adam decided to pick them up as well. At this point of the run.
Well, it's kind of whenever you hit the clock room
Yeah.
at any given point. All right. Interesting. Enters the menu. I don't know exactly why.
Maybe to
I'm
check.
guessing that was just a mistake. That feels like a mistake to me.
What I think is
Like they thought that they had to skip a cutscene.
could be, but what could also happen is he could check the time to see whether or not the statue will be open on his way up, to know if he needs the library card out or if he can take the warp at Orox.
It's walking on thin air. I mean, I guess that's possible. Again, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe the Lucid Faia will comment on our video. Shoutouts to Adam G, by the way, for actually giving a little bit of context to his run.
Yeah,
really
really
appreciated that, by the way. I don't know your feelings on that,
Oh yeah,
Talic.
absolutely. That was really cool to see.
So we're going to drop down into the bottom of the clock room and make our way to Maria. So, like, this is a really modern take on speedrunning. This isn't something that really has been kind of taken out of the route, is the idea of hitting Maria very, very early, using the invincibility of the potion to be able to get to the silver ring and bypassing based on there. Now, how you get the gold ring might have changed, but the simple idea of sequence breaking to the silver ring, sequence breaking to the Colosseum, like, these are all things that are still prevalent in some incarnation in the Soten speedrun, especially for glitchless.
Yeah, very similar.
So, like, I guess you could see, like, I wouldn't say it's the modern age of Soten speedrunning, but you can definitely see the prototype, right?
Yeah, definitely an evolution over the last one. Yeah, we're definitely heading on to Keep now. We have all the needed accessories to exit the first castle. He has all necessary movement options. Bat, gravity boots.
So immediately kind of teleporting back. Knows to get the teleporter, by the way, something that we didn't quite mention. Funny enough, I believe there was a tester who originally thought that you had to take the teleporter in order to make sure that it was available, but that's not the case. Immediately wearing the holy glasses here. Let's see the strategy that they use. Punch-based strat, still very good, I would say. A little surprised they didn't push it a little bit more, but still very strong for being able to drop the orb kind of as soon as you could.
Yeah. Pretty much all the other options.
That cutscene, though.
PlayStation, good old PlayStation. All the other options he would have would be slower, except obviously the optimal one, which they didn't think of at the time.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell like what people knew at any given time. Without getting into it too much, that's why it's a really cool thing to see Adam G do his response to his run, is that he kind of mentions what he was aware of, which is super cool for kind of history geeks.
Yeah,
to be able to tell, like, yeah, exactly. To be able to tell, like, did they know about this or did they just not kind of feel like it was viable? Because there's a lot of things right now in speedrunning in 2018 where, like, we think they might be possible, or maybe we know they're faster, but we're not sure that people should do them for a consistency standpoint.
They should, is the answer.
Oh yeah, where's the sub 7, Talic? Where's it at? Where's that?
Hasn't been
no, where's it at?
Collected.
No, it's we're now calling out Talic in this video, calling him bad at the game. Because he's gonna talk badly about the community. We're gonna say he hasn't gotten it yet.
That's surprising. The short sword killed Darkwing Bad that quickly.
Yeah, that was actually really fast. I kind of breezed over it, but yeah, that's really quick. Even for like if you use the Alucard shield rod and didn't know exactly the position to like manipulate, that would still be really fast.
Yeah.
Something else I noted as Lucid was making their way through the reverse keep, it does not seem like they know about diagonal.
He did it once.
Gravity boots.
In the
I have not seen it yet.
He did it in the normal keep, and he also chained it then. But every other time.
But they aren't using it here, so.
Yeah, every other time he's been doing it off the floor.
All right. Well, we'll play back the footage. Because I don't remember that.
Well, but he did it.
Interesting. Well, interesting.
Oh, we are going to see
going for Luminous. So they pick up specifically Luminous, right? Like, there's no reason you would ever pick that up except specifically to get that weapon.
Yep.
So the question is why?
There we go. Chains him.
Do you know by chance if Luminous is a holy-based weapon?
Would make sense, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I've really used that weapon a lot.
So a little bit of unfamiliarity on our part. Not sure if Luminous actually has the holy property. If not, then it's a complete time waste that they did that. Because they had both Holy Rod and they had access to Jewel Knuckle. I would say that even if it did have the holy property, it's still a time waste because Holy Rod is so freaking fast. It's incredible.
Combos.
A little bit of spaghetti there as they're making the way up the reverse outer wall.
This section is pretty difficult to do. There's so many enemies and the golden skulls are in your way. And there's definitely some RNG, especially if you don't do the wing smashing so much. These bones can definitely catch you off guard. It's very scary in the current era of glitchless ones. The way I have to scoot through and pretty much really hope that you don't get snagged by a bone.
Unfortunately, as Talic was hoping, no Moonrod. Because if you had Moonrod, casual tip, Moonrod destroys creature. But using the Luminous to be able to fight it.
At this point, I don't think it's a holy weapon. Maybe he just picked it up for the good range and hitbox. Because it's pretty similar to
Yeah, but you already have the Holy Rod, right?
Yeah.
And the Holy Rod already has a really high damage potential and really fast speed.
If you use it on the ground, though, it has a lot of recovery.
I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to...
Agree to disagree.
I'm trying to figure out what his logic was. You're gonna heal up?
But maybe we'll get a response video.
That would be really cool.
Literally a response video for every video. This is the best.
I hope we get some... well, we'll see. We're gonna try and figure out some other cool stuff for you guys.
So interesting. This bat dash into wing smash. This is actually really fast comparative to what we had with Adam G's run.
What? I didn't know about that. It's perfect spacing for the ledges. That is amazing.
Yeah, and makes it so that you don't have to deal with Jack-o'-bones. You don't have to deal with the golden skulls. So very cool.
I think in the current route that Dragon Blitz uses for glitchless, that would be very useful to do. That exact strategy. That's pretty cool. History can teach.
Nah, man, you just got to get the level up MP regen.
Now,
right?
Did he ever save? I don't think so, right?
Did not.
Yeah, so...
as far as I'm aware of. So, again, maybe that same self-input... Wait! There's our save.
The first one, though.
So, I'm going to say that was for MP, because...
Yeah.
Wait, it didn't turn into a coffin. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't pay attention, but I think it was the first one.
Okay, hold on, because this is relevant. If we can backtrack. I'm going to backtrack to... I'm going to wait for a moment here. We are going to backtrack in the video to 3445. Okay?
Okay.
So 3445 is going to be as Lucid as entering the save room in the reverse caverns. Okay? Do you have it set up?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be resuming in 3, 2, 1, go. So from here, they hit the save point.
Yeah, it's definitely the slow one, and it turns into a coffin. Well, it's...
Interesting. So it hits the coffin, but doesn't turn into the coffin animation.
That's some PlayStation stuff.
Huh. So that's something I was unaware of that is a possible glitch, is that there was no... Normally, those pieces that break off from the save point turn into a coffin and they reform into the coffin. But in that case, they did not do so.
Yeah, the texture...
So that is going to be something that we'll have to investigate in the future, because I did not know that was a thing that could happen.
I think I've seen it before, but I'm not
make sure to make a note of that, Talik, because
yeah,
be an interesting thing for a certain speedrun.
Sounds like something that would happen on PlayStation and not Xbox. Because we have other PlayStation...
So normally what would happen is you would hit that and it would automatically save, like no questions asked. It doesn't matter if you canceled or anything, it just automatically saves the first time you reach a save point. Interesting thing here, uses the elite boots to be able to kind of just jump up the reverse abandoned mind.
Now he switches to Holy Rod for death.
Understandable. Holy Rod's really good for death.
Yeah. I wish the fight was this easy on... Whoa! I didn't know the Holy Rod had that animation. I've never seen that. Inside the flash, that little... I'm gonna look that up later. Yeah, I wish this fight was this easy on Castlevania 1. There we go, death down.
So picking up the last relic for the bottom of the castle. Still has to get the right side of the castle here.
Yeah.
But definitely going to hit the teleporter here.
Utilizing the stopwatch heavily during the whole run. Not opting for any other sub-weapons. Just for...
Not yet, at least, right?
Yeah. Although he didn't use it here in the bedroom.
Considering that they have the Holy Rod, though.
Whoa,
Kind of.
Alucard sword. Interesting.
Alucard sword. Alright. So, Alucard sword is really good. I don't think I have to mention much more than that. Very fast, very good hitbox. Very good special
Amazing
attack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure if it's better than Holy Rod for Holy Weak enemies, but just as a universal weapon.
Damage output has to be better.
Very, very good.
Yeah. You're also fully invincible during the special, which you can chain with good timing. Okay. Wing smashes through the tombstone hallway.
I'm receiving some information out of video that says that perhaps without a memory card, with no memory slot available, that we might get that animation.
Yeah, you get it every time if you don't have a
memory card available.
I don't know about
we'll have to look into that a little bit.
Yeah, it could be.
Interesting. So, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna throw shade. That's an unoptimized fight.
Yeah, he could have just used...
If you have the Alucard sword, you use the Alucard sword. If you don't, then you just use the fists. There's no reason you should use both of those methods. Especially since when you're crouching,
there's the diagonal.
You can hit... Nice. Good point out, by the way. Especially when you're just kind of fighting out enemies, like you should be able to hit Medusa without any risk of being damaged in reprisal.
Take that holy mana prism there.
There's no
chaining. There we go.
So chaining, as mentioned, good catch again. Chaining, obviously known at this point. So we did see a diagonal and we did see a chain. We didn't see a gravity bat, but still. Picking up a holy water here, so still using the holy property to be able to do extra damage. Question is do they know that it is extra effective on Akmadon? And we'll have to see what happens here.
We'll see how many he throws down. Okay. Very good. Optimal fight on Akmadon.
So yeah. Optimal fight, throw holy water, and forget it.
I'm always surprised at how much the lag is on PlayStation, even though I've experienced it. Okay, he's gonna go left here and gonna go through the Cthulhu hallway. We have all the relics on deck, I'm pretty sure.
So I can say, like, I'm kind of, like, not sure at this point. How would Glitchless take it at this point, after picking that up?
It's the same route.
They would take the same route, right?
Yeah,
okay.
This is a very dangerous
And they would still have to deal with MP for that particular room.
Yeah, there is an option to refill before shaft. Or obviously take that mana prism which he forgo, which was in the long chimney upwards. I'm guessing he's gonna refill, and that's gonna actually allow us to see.
I actually don't think they need to, because he doesn't have the shield rod.
Oh yeah.
And the MP isn't important for Shaft, because after you defeat Shaft, you get the entire time that it takes Dracula's spawn to get a natural MP regen. So yeah, that's something that's actually important when it comes to glitchless and for all bosses.
A funny thing about this particular room is that if you activate this cutscene as Bat, which you can do, you're stuck in bad form until it finishes, and your mana will continue to drain. So in the modern glitchless route, you need to be careful about that. Okay, let's see. Yeah.
Still 61 hearts as well, so I don't think they're going to pick up the heart refresh.
Yeah, 0 memory slots available.
There we go. So that means, that confirms that there is either a full memory card or no memory card, right?
It was full. I'm pretty sure when we saw the
one of those two.
Yeah, the left one. Too many video games.
Nice training of the gravity boots there to be able to make it into the final chamber. Uses the right side strat here. Using the Alucard sword. Very strong weapon still. This is actually a real fight here, kind of.
Backdash. Oh, they do so much damage.
Kind of exciting, in a way, right? Other than your cheater method, Talic. But yeah, it's a very different way that you encounter Shaft, but still, at this point, you have such strong weapons that it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
More interested in the Dracula fight. Is Holy Water going to make an appearance? Right now, Talic, call it.
No.
You have 3 seconds.
I'm going to say no.
No. He's going to say no. I'm going to say yes, but maybe on accident.
Soul Steel? Interesting.
Oh man, the punches. The punches.
I mean, they do double hit, but the damage output is probably better on Alucard sword.
Yeah, 100% better.
Yeah. Yeah,
all right. Ooh, interesting. I actually didn't know you could duck that. I thought you had to avoid it by jumping.
You probably need to be in the very middle.
So hitting in the second phase of this fight.
Which pretty much confirms that Alucard sword will be quicker. I'm pretty sure. Using the
Alucard special to be able to use the invincibility, yeah, as you mentioned.
Very nice. That is...
And triangle attack, lot of damage out of that attack. I'm surprised that Lucid didn't opt to use a bat or a mist to avoid that.
Done for the speed.
Still
and
pretty decent
GG.
fight.
That was a cool fight, actually, the way he did it, even though he handicapped himself a little bit. So even in these early Sultan speedruns, you can see that the boss fights aren't really much of a showcase. But the movement.
I'd say a little bit, just because we aren't like holding out a shield and killing them.
Yeah.
So like there is a risk of dying. I would say there's even a risk of dying in glitchless at this point even. Even with the shield rod, it's still something that you need to be aware of.
Absolutely.
But very much so at this point. Like you saw that a single hit did, I think, 79 damage, which is quite a bit.
Yeah. Shaft Orb also did a lot, 75 I think.
So our introduction to Lucid Faia's run, what did we catch? We caught the use of the stopwatch on Doppelganger 10. We caught the use of the early Coliseum glitch to be able to get access to Mist. We saw wolf jumping, which got us early access to the bat. We saw access to the early silver ring, which got us the gold ring, which led us to the second castle. And at that point, it was just kind of fairly reasonable. We saw chaining gravity boots, which I do not believe was part of the Adam G run. We had diagonal gravity boots as well, which is of note. We saw a variety of weapons kind of utilized in order to amplify damage, including the Holy Rod, the Alucard sword, the Jewel Knuckles. So a lot of kind of interesting developments from one run to the other. And it's not going to be until the next run where we start getting into what I would call kind of the modern Soten speedrunning mentality. But any takeaways from this run for you, Talic?
It was very cool to see all the variety of weapons used in that way. And optimizing in the space of where you're limited in a certain set of strategies and weapons always creates something interesting for me to see. Which is why these early runs are so cool to analyze and watch. And I'm also very intrigued by that strat of the backdash wing smash in the reverse long hallway. That was very cool. How it exactly lined up to land on those platforms. That was pretty cool.
So, if you were to point out some notable exceptions talking about the modern era of Soten speedrunning, what would be like 2 or 3 that you would point out that are pretty clear omissions from kind of how we run the game at this point? I would say from a glitchless perspective, just because that's kind of close to what we're looking at here.
Really, the biggest things that are probably the 2 biggest, most recognizable things about Soten speedrunning today is shield dashing and wing smash. And infinite wing smash rather, chaining them. Those 2 will, even though they may or may not create more or less impact in these runs, these 2 early runs with their strategies and their resources and stuff like that, they are the 2 things I think that stand out the most as harsh differences.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I would also say of note the idea of bat kicking and gravity bat are also 2 notable exceptions between the runs now and kind of more modern runs.
The collection of movement options that we have, especially in the longer categories like glitchless and all bosses, create some of the most interesting possibilities for movement in the game to create more complex and optimized strategies. That's still until today we're looking for. We're trying to squeeze out more time in rooms, and that's some of the coolest parts of this game when it comes to those longer categories. And we're gonna see more and more of that going onwards with these runs, and actually later on less of that when the runs start getting shorter and shorter, and we start getting less of those relics.
And we do have the intention of looking on kind of other categories for this, but we really want to kind of focus on the genesis of Soten speedrunning, for lack of a better term. Any kind of closing thoughts that you want to mention, Talic, as we're finishing up I Am the Wind, which is the superior song as opposed to Admiration of the Clan with 2 eyes?
I'm just really excited to continue doing this series, and I hope maybe we get another response like in the last video. That would be really cool to have some more context. But it's gonna be really cool to see the next few runs in this series, because there we can maybe do some more interesting content for you guys.
I will say that I am most excited for those runs.
Yeah.
Because while like kind of the genesis of Soten speedrunning is really important to me, like I feel like the next runner that we are going to cover is going to be the one that really kind of sets the standard and is the point. Like they say, like AD and BCE, you know, for history. Like I would say that is the point where you draw the line to say, like, before that was when Soten speedrunning was in its infancy.
So what you're saying is BS
was,
and AS?
Yeah, the next runner that we're going to cover is going to be one that is going to be extremely crucial for Soten speedrunning.
Absolutely.
And extremely integral for both techniques, building the community, and building the techniques that will carry us into the more modern era. But as we're closing up here, I mentioned it a little bit before, but any closing thoughts before we sign out here?
Not really. It was really fun.
Yeah, run that I have not actually looked at until this day. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but not really watched through it. But very interesting. So, this is Turbodog702, co-commentating with TalicZealot for The Long Library, a Castlevania Symphony of the Night based speedrunning Discord community. We're going to be posting this on YouTube and inside of the Discord itself. Feel free to check those out. We will be also listing the link to the video itself that we are commentating on, both in the video link and inside of the Discord itself. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. See you another time.